record. So Brett Nelson is here from Musco, and a little bit about Brett. He has a Bachelor's of Science from Western Illinois University and an MBA from St. Ambrose University. He's married to Christy Nelson, who is a nurse practitioner, and he has 3 daughters. Jenna is 25, Kate and Carrie are both 22. He's been with Musco for 36 years and is fortunate to have served in a number of roles. And today he's speaking to us as the general manager and product manager. I think with that, I will turn it over to Brett.
Thank you, Megan. I'm going to actually speak from the side here because I'm going to try to follow my presentation. I want to be able to see where I'm at. First, I want to thank you for having me today. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. My plan was to kind of give you a rundown of company history, talk a little bit about the culture and the team at Musco, go through the current scope and some recognition that we've received, current products and services, talk about our recent facility expansion a little bit, and then just showcase some projects because everybody wants to know about projects, although there are a lot to have to showcase. So I don't, it's a small subset, but really just wanted to kind of give you an overview. So we'll move into company history here, and I think I can control it here. I'll try. And then Lindsay doesn't have to, maybe. All right, we want to go to the next slide. There we go. Excuse me. So let's talk about company history a little bit. So Musco Lighting, as Musco Lighting, was founded in 1976. It was founded by 2 gentlemen from Oskaloosa, Iowa, Joe Kirkham and Myron Gordon. Myron was an engineer with Pella Roll Screen, and Joe was an attorney that had a practice in Oskaloosa. And it was a family practice. His father was also a practicing attorney. So the roots for Musco really go back to a company called G&L Industries, which is a business that Myron started. And Myron was actually making small hand tools out of his living room where he had a metal lathe. And in working on that business, he worked with Joe to help, support G&L. And Joe said, well, I'd maybe kind of like to get involved in this. Joe has a real sales acumen. And so they partnered up and really got serious about G&L and focused on that. G&L started in 1968. As G&L became, they kept their jobs, but they continued to work G&L to bring it forward and grow it. And as things grew, they decided maybe they had an opportunity to do more. And so they were looking, decided it was time to look to see if there was other businesses they might branch out into. And so that's kind of how Muscatine comes into the picture. So they worked with Iowa State Extension Office to identify potential businesses that might be able to be acquired. And they came forward and found Muscatine Lighting and Manufacturing Company, which was here in Muscatine, had been operating. It was a small company, it was failing, but they had a broad offering in several different market segments, very small in what they were doing. And as they researched it and worked through it with support from community leaders, and specifically George Shepley and First National Bank, they decided that they should purchase the company and move forward. And George offered financial support and the support of the community as part of that. And it really ended up being a gentleman's handshake because, as you recognize, Myron and Joe are both from Oskaloosa. They still live in Oskaloosa. There was great concern about them buying a company in Muscatine and keeping the company in Muscatine. So George's whole angle on what was, we want to give you support, but we want to keep the company here. So there was a gentleman's handshake basically between them that led to that. And to this day, we still operate our primary manufacturing facility here in Muscatine. We're continuing to growing it. I'll talk about growing it. I'll talk about that in a minute. So once they acquired Muscatine Lighting and Manufacturing Company, they then renamed it Musco Lighting. I did a little bit of digging, because there's always a question about where the name Musco came from. And actually, from what I can tell, the green logo on the left of this presentation was actually from a catalog of Muscatine Lighting and Manufacturing Company. So it was actually, I think, a brand that was being used that they just carried forward and expanded from there. So there's the logo is kind of behind the closed caption, but then there was the first Musco logo that was put in place, and then we have the logo today. But in terms of how the name came, I think it actually still started with Muscatine Lighting. It was just an expansion on it. So one of the things that was really, really important when they bought the company and started to focus on what the existing business was and what the opportunities would be, was they identified that there were basically 6 market segments that were being supplied. But they recognized that if they tried to deal with all those 6 market segments, they couldn't be successful. It's a small business. They're looking to get things going. So they decided they needed a niche, and what they realized was that some of the product that Muscatine Lighting was offering was a system approach to sports lighting, and they were doing fairly well with it. It was quartz fixtures. There's actually still some examples of it on fields around the area. Not many, but there are a few left. And so they decided that sports lighting would be the niche, and that's how we got started, how they got started with Musco, and really is, for the most part, been the primary market for us in the 48 years we've been in business. Although we've tried to expand and diversify, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So Joe jokes with Myron, since they selected sports lighting and became such a successful niche, they recognized there were 6 total market segments. He jokes with Myron that he still owes them product for 5 market segments yet to go, which I don't think we're really going to get there, but it's that. So we'll go to the next slide. Sure. Yeah, thank you. So it's kind of expanding on company history. I wanted to talk a little bit about some milestones and kind of the 48 years of innovation and solutions. So with Joe and Myron and the focus on sports lighting and system solutions, there are some kind of core things that have led the way to help us become a leader in the sports lighting industry and the lighting industry in general. Very focused on system solutions, so it's highly engineered, highly packaged, and shipped from the factory, so it's easy to install, doesn't require a lot of parts and pieces in the field, that kind of thing. That's been a core foundation to design of equipment. You know, we've been focused obviously on ongoing enhancement improvement like any company would be, but it's very technically oriented around the performance of the lighting. Lighting control and efficiency of lighting is a big issue for us, and it's one of the ways that Musco's really set itself out apart in the industry over the years, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Control systems is something we introduced in the late 90s and has really blossomed well for us in terms of being able for us to continue to have connection to the customer. So when we sell our products to facility owners. They may have other fields to light, they maybe don't, but we want to try to be able to come back to them and have reason to stay connected. And the control system side of that allows us to do that. Long-term warranties and service, we actually, some of you may know this, but we actually offer the longest warranty in the marketplace. We offer a 25-year, basically hands-off warranty as part of our overall service offering, which is really unusual from that point of view, but it speaks highly of our team and our service capabilities, and it speaks even more highly of our products. So, and then market diversification, you know, we're working through that. So just a few highlight dates, you know, after they acquired Muscatine Lighting, they introduced the sports cluster in 1977, which was the first focused product on sports lighting. Which was a really big deal at that point. And then in 1982, a milestone kind of happened where we introduced mobile lighting, and specifically mobile lighting for the Michigan Notre Dame game, which is featured in this picture here. So I don't know that I can tell the story quite as well as Joe can, but basically when they agreed to do this working with ABC Sports, he thought they had a 2-year cycle. He thought it needed to be ready for the second, 2 years out, second game out. ABC thought it was that year when they agreed. We did it that year. So that's kind of a example of how Musco reacts to things and what we've done. But mobile lighting is something that, besides being kind of a rolling test lab for us, really was a marketing tool, because it got trucks out on the road that were branded with Musco. It got our name out there. It got our name out there on a national basis, and really set the stage, for Musco to grow from there. So it was a very important milestone. I talked about controlling. We introduced in '98. That allows us to actually remotely monitor and turn lights on and off. For our customers. Our customers actually can set schedules to say, hey, I want the lights to come on at 5 p.m. this day, turn off at 10 p.m. that day. They can set those schedules out for the summer. And also we have cellular connectivity with each of those deployments, so we actually know how the system's running, which allows us to offer the service levels and the warranty that we do. Light structure green was kind of a milestone in 2005, and basically what we did was introduce a large set of work that Myron had done that were parts and pieces. So basically, he'd work in one area to try to find improvements, he'd work in another area to try to find improvements, that sort of thing. Well, he had a lot of those queued up. And then we decided we needed to find a way to package that. And so we packaged it under the Light Structure Green moniker, and we were actually able to take our lighting and improve the efficiency of our lighting by about 50%. And then lastly, and it's kind of hidden back here, but the market shift to LED. We actually introduced the first commercial, our first commercial sports lighting LED fixtures in 2016. But leading up to that, you'll see the White House featured here. So we knew we needed to start to look towards LED as a new light source, and the whole market has really shifted there now. Joe was on the National Parks and Rec Board with Laura Bush, actually, and others. But at the end of the Bush term, basically she was looking to do something with lighting in the White House. And with Joe's involvement, Joe said, hey, I think we can probably do something with that. So in true Musco form, our very first LED project we ever implemented was the lighting of the White House. So there's no, pressure there or anything like that. But it turned out well. It's still lit with our fixtures today. There's a lot of interesting stories that people worked on that project have to tell. But that was a big one in the LED world for us because it set the stage. So we'll go, I guess I can go to the next slide here. So now I kind of want to just moving along here to culture and team. So Musco's team mission: create value and have fun, providing products and services for people with whom we can develop long-term relationships, build on trust, mutual trust and respect. And that mission's been in place for numerous, probably at least 20 years. And so it's something that we use a lot when we talk to team members and prospective new team members. But I just wanted to kind of set a stage for that. I know everybody has missions, that sort of thing, but I wanted to kind of get that out there. But really, what that means fundamentally for us is team is number one, and that's Joe and Myron's philosophy. If we treat the team properly and we do the things we need to do to take care of the team, then our customers will be taken care of by default. And that's one of the key things. So many people say customers number one. Well, that's not really exactly how we look at it. We appreciate our customers immensely, don't get me wrong. But we really try to build a team. So Musco exists for the benefit of the team as a whole, and that's a philosophy that Joe and Myron have pushed forward over the many years. We refer to our team as team members. I know H&I and other organizations talk about members in town. We use the team member moniker when we talk about our what would be employees. We always capitalize team in writing, that sort of thing, just to emphasize it. So team's critically important to us. Health goals are another piece that's really important to us. And if you think about Musco's health goals here are financial health, healthy growth, and healthy environment. It's really a three-legged stool. So we want to keep those in balance. And a three-legged stool can't stand with without one of the legs being what it needs to be. So we try to keep those things in mind as we're looking at what we want to do for the future, where we want to head, where we want to grow, what we want to do with our facilities, those sorts of things. Another philosophy Joe has and has really pushed throughout the organization is the importance of perspectives. And some of you may have seen this. I'm not going to do it nearly as well as Joe, but he always talks to the team to make a point where if I do this to Bob, right, he can't tell. He can just say I'm holding fingers up. He can't tell where they're at in relationship, but he knows I'm holding fingers up. However, this table knows exactly how far apart they are. So the perspective of everybody needs to really come into play to be able to keep things moving forward and understand the types of issues, those sorts of things we're dealing with. So there's that, and then we make it happen. That is a tagline on our business cards, on all our literature and brochures, but it's not just a tagline for us. It truly is literally how all the team is used to doing business and working in their respective jobs and responsibilities. So, current scope, we're about 1,700 team members worldwide. As I said, our headquarters are in Oskaloosa, Iowa. Joe and Myron still live there today. We have a manufacturing facility there as well. We have manufacturing facilities here in Muscatine, as we talked about, Shanghai, China, Des Moines, Iowa, and Gumi City, South Korea. Offices in 12 countries. We've had project sales and executed projects in 125 plus countries. It's still a privately held company. And our primary markets, for the most part, are sports lighting, recreational, professional, large area lighting, which would include ports, rail yards, airport, architectural lighting, and then temporary lighting, which would include the mobile lighting I talked about, Olympics, X Games, those sorts of things. So, some recognitions that we've received over the years, and there are numerous, but these are some of the highlights. We're proud this year we received a top workplace recognition from USA Today. Last year we received a Iowa top workplace recognition from the Des Moines Register. As I understand it, all of those recognitions stem from team surveys that were conducted and had to be submitted to be able to be evaluated and earned it now. And so annually we conduct surveys of the team to get feedback, input, want to understand how the team's feeling about where things are at. That sort of thing. In 1985, we were awarded an Academy Award from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, and that was specifically with mobile lighting and for movie lighting that was being done at the time. In 1982, which was the year of the Michigan Notre Dame mobile game, and in 2012, we were awarded Emmy Awards. So we were awarded for breakthroughs in sports lighting for sports on television. We were awarded 2 Emmy Awards. And then in 1993, I haven't talked about it yet, but we did a little project in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Charlotte Motor Speedway where we had to design products specifically for that to solve the ability to light that in a way that was safe for NASCAR, that sort of thing, for the drivers, for the safety of the event, that allowed the spectators to enjoy the event. The Illuminating Engineering Society gave us that award. It was for outstanding accomplishment in outdoor lighting. So just kind of touch on current products and services. As I said, we're really focused on LED at this point in time. Our product, we refer to as TLC for LED, or Total Light Control for LED. There's some example pictures of fixtures here. This is our typical high school and Parks and Rec fixture. This is your typical fixture that would be installed on large stadiums. This graphic over on this side represents, again, the system approach I referred to earlier. And basically, it's our light structure system that we introduced in the 90s, but we've adapted for the new fixture technology. And the big important piece here is it's represented around 5 easy pieces. So we market 5 easy pieces that's simple for the customer to receive, unload, put together, and install for the contractor. I wanted to talk, this is kind of important, so I wanted to slide specifically on this, the evolution of, oops, sorry, got ahead of myself. The evolution of light control. And this starts with, both of these represent the same thing. This is in a lab, this is out in the field. But basically, this is the evolution of our ability to control and manage the light that we're creating to actually light the field. And get, one of the key pieces is you want to get as much light on the field and keep as much light off of the area around the field as possible. And so in 1977, this was the technology, and you can see there was really little or no control. Then in the late 80s, we introduced a higher level of control in 3 variants that progressively provided more control. These both put a lot of light on the field, but the problem was that to control spill light, we had to add some extra equipment that would reduce the output, so we actually would have to provide a few more fixtures to offset the loss of light. I mentioned light structure green in 2005. This was the culmination of that, which was still the metal halide product. We had the product before LED. And you can see the level of control that we introduced at that point in time. And then this is basically today, and when we introduced LED, and you notice you get progressively less visibility of the light source to the point where you have no visibility of the light source. So it's actually blocked. It's still lighting, it's still doing what it's supposed to do, but it's high control, high level of control of the spill and glare off of the field. And that's demonstrated on this photo, to where these are equivalent, and it just progresses forward. So 1977, 1989, 2005, and you can see there are less fixtures here, but that's because the same amount of light's being applied to the field with less fixtures, and it deals with the efficiency that I was talking about. And then this represents our current LED product, and this is legit. This is a pole with our fixtures. You can't see them, but there's light there, and you can see it shining down from onto the pole and reflecting on the pole. So the actual visibility of the light source has been blocked completely in that situation. And then this is kind of interesting, because at the time this photo was put together, basically our competitors' level of technology around control of light for LED is this compared to that. So that really goes back to that. So one of the points I want to make with this is, with our history of innovation, what we've been able to do is to not only increase light efficiency so we consume less fixtures, less electricity, but we've also been able to maintain our progressive improvement in spill and glare light, whereas most of the other manufacturers that got in the business of LED, they went back to day one and started at day one. So, talk just briefly about other current products and services. So control solutions have become a really big thing for us, especially with the advent of LED, because LED is instant on, instant off. So, and you can do it at power levels of dimming and all that sort of thing. So we're actually able now to do lighting shows that we can flash the lights in different patterns. We can include color. We can do those kinds of things. And so the control solutions have really come along nicely with LED. We introduced an ancillary product called Mini Pitch System, which is a modular sports solution. We have one down in Musser Park. And basically the idea of that is that we for lack of a better term, systematized the ability to put playing areas in parks that primarily were designed, we did it primarily with the intent of putting them into urban areas where the equipment would be abused and that sort of thing. But we could create a place for people who lived in those areas to play, but it would be robust enough to kind of survive the test of time there. And then we also have a product called Musco Vision, which allows us to do game streaming. So in those situations where grandparents or parents can't be at the game, we are able to actually stream and offer that, the ability for them to be able to watch their granddaughter, grandson, son or daughter play. We adapted our five easy pieces light structure solution also into a communication structure system. So the pole structure that we provide was very scalable, if you will, to the communications industry and the cellular industry. And the way the cellular industry is going, they need more structures smaller than what they used to. And so we adapted our product to meet those needs, and it fits really well in that. All right, so moving along here, talking about facility expansions. Just last week, we held an open house and ribbon cutting for our 28,000 square foot facility fabrication we just opened here in town. That shows, again, additional commitment to the community and where we're at. We always plan to be here, and that gentleman's handshake remains a commitment. This will allow us to do our full fabrication and our aluminum fabrication in the same building. It allows it to be done in an environment where it's climate controlled, which is a huge asset for the welding and the staff. I'm sure Bob can appreciate that. His assistance with us on team members. It's really nice. We have a new break room in the space. We built it so that it was a storm shelter as well, so anybody in that building could go right into that and be safe. So it's added a really nice additional benefit to what we
just want to highlight some projects. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these, but I need to go back though. I think I skipped a slide.
Sorry, that was my fault.
Oh, don't worry.
Right now it's Rye.
All right.
Okay.
So this first slide is a quick, and I just picked photos out of our library, but it's a quick representation of what our core business is really about. So Parks and Rec in high school is still the bulk of what we do. We get involved in some really high profile opportunities, but this is really the bulk of the total volume that goes through our facilities. So things like Triumph Park in Waukee, it's a multi-field baseball softball complex. Soccer City in Aurora, Colorado, it's a multi-field soccer complex. You can see the tennis courts here in West Palm Beach, Florida. They represent the level of spill and glare control that we can accomplish. This picture demonstrates that really nicely. We did a little project at Camp Courageous to light the mini golf up there. Waukee Northwest High School, Grand Island, New York baseball field, high school baseball field. So, you know, those are, again, representative of what we do day in and day out. And then everybody kind of wants the heavy hitters. Well, this is just a small sampling of them, but you can see we did lighting for Dodger Stadium, Comerica Park, and Detroit Tigers, where they play for MLB. Waukee Brewers Spring Training Facility is here. We've done a lot of spring training facilities. And I'll highlight that this is also a picture of the Waukee Brewers Spring Training Facility when they're using colored lights that's available to them. And they can do more than just blue, but I think the blue picture. Field of Dreams Stadium, we did lighting for that. Now it's currently partially deconstructed as they're looking to do stuff there. The lights are still in place, just kind of waiting what happens there. But we were excited to be able to be involved in those two midsummer games that were played there last couple of years. University of Alabama baseball, again, all the examples of what we do at the MLB level and at the college. NFL and college stadiums. So just highlight a few. Superdome in New Orleans, AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, the big house, the University of Michigan, lit up blue. So University of Washington, Husky Stadium, and an iconic facility here in Notre Dame Stadium, which is the stadium, just as a reminder, where we did the first mobile lighting project. So these pictures are pretty cool. So that's why I put this slide together. This represents some of the work we've done in racetracks, both in the country and worldwide. So you've got the Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi, picture of Daytona International Speedway. Here in Iowa, Knoxville Raceway is a really nice installation and project for us. Bahrain International Circuit, Sydney Motorsports. And you can see that there's a lot of extensive work that goes into lighting these kinds of circuits. Get involved in those. So we're almost to the end here. This represents kind of our extended market. So I've talked about large area lighting and talked about rail ports here. So this would be the Port of Miami, an example of what we do there. We also do rail yards. This represents a recent market that we've gone after pretty heavily, and that's airport lighting. And we've been very successful in that. Our product lended itself really, really well to being adapted to be applied in that space. You can see with Joe's involvement in the National Parks and Rec Board, that also got us involved in lighting a few of our national monuments as well. They're not all featured here, but you've got the Statue of Liberty, you've got Mount Rushmore, as you all recognize. Washington Monument also has our lighting. So. And then facade lighting. So this is the Iowa State Capitol here as well. We finished that not too long ago. And then this is Grand, can't really see it very well, but that's Grand Central Station in New York City. So we actually had to install the lighting on adjacent buildings, on the roofs of adjacent buildings to be able to do that. So. All right. So that's a lot, but first of all, thank you again. I wanted to entertain any questions you have, but before we get into questions, if you guys really want to dig any deeper, I recommend you go to our website, www.musco.com. And I also recommend looking up on YouTube, and I highly recommend this, looking up our Musco lighting channel on YouTube, because you can see all the show controls and a whole lot of really interesting things there, live and in color and in video. So. Any questions? Anybody else? Sarah.
What was the thing we were all voting on?
Yeah. So the coolest things in Iowa, right? Coolest products made in Iowa. So I should have put something in on that. So we made it to the final round of 4. We did not get selected as the coolest product in Iowa, but one of the 4 was. Vermeer's hay baler was actually selected to be the coolest. But we were really happy to be able to be part of that and be recognized. So it was kind of cool. And we appreciate anybody that voted on it. We appreciate your support. I'm going to backtrack here because I appreciate that a lot. Bob. Thank you very much for saying that. One of the things I meant to mention on the slide here, and I didn't, were these 2 pictures right here. To Bob's point, in terms of what we do for our team members, this is an example. Many of you have heard this, but we offer something called the Kids Band. We offer it in Oskaloosa. We offer it here in Muscatine. This is a picture of the Kids Band in Oskaloosa and several of the team dependents that we have. But the idea of that is that we actually buy vehicles, hire drivers to help the team member be able to get their kid after school to their activity, to the event, that sort of thing, to make it a lot easier on the team member to be able to stay engaged at work. And so that's a representation. And that's something that's been in place for 25 years, 30 years. It's been a long time. So we're really proud of that. And then this is just kind of talking about team. Last year, this is the type of thing Musco will do for its team when we have the opportunity to. And I don't have any pictures to feature, but we did light Wrigley Field last year. So that's a big deal. Unfortunately, I didn't have any pictures that I could gather to share. But I did have this picture. And so in May, I think it was last year, we offered to take anybody on the team that wanted to a game. So we, everybody signed up. Not everybody went, but a good portion of our team went for both Oskaloosa, Des Moines, and here in Muscatine. I went. It was really exciting. And we were able to actually go early in the day for a tour of Wrigley Field and then go to the game at night. It was a Cubs Cards game. So it's kind of what's going on right now. I think the outcome was better than it was the last couple of days.
Can I just add, from the nonprofit world, so I'm always on the outside looking into Musco, but I think for team members, like a lot of companies can say, like, we're in it for the team and everybody matters, but Musco means it, and there's no like A team or B team. Like everyone is treated equitably, whether you're first shift or second shift. So if I ask to come in and talk to people, it's like, you got to find the window where everybody's there. And then when you get those opportunities, I mean, Big Brothers Big Sisters benefits a lot, because if they can't send second shift to, I'll use like a baseball game, for example, then nobody gets them. They go out in the community to support those that maybe wouldn't get there anyway or otherwise. So I just think they really mean it when they say it, and it's nice to look in and see that. So
thank you. I appreciate that. We try. I mean, there's so many companies here in Muscatine doing really great things, and we just try to be a part of that.
Yep.
Want to help make Muscatine a better place. So I think probably that's it, right? I'm guessing I'm well past time. So unless there's any other questions, then go on. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Brett. And we are lucky for a small town, not only to have you as one of your base here, but also the amount of lighting that we have for our different facilities here. It's fantastic. So in recognition of your presentation, the Rotary Club of Muscatine will donate funds to pay for 20 children to be inoculated from the polio virus, which is one of our initiatives. So thank you for being here. And the board of directors will meet after this meeting. I forgot to announce that earlier. So next week is our gavel passing. I hope everybody will come for that, and everybody will bring some happy news. And then July 1st, we have junior achievement. July 8th, we have our scholarship students, and then we start to jump into leadership of Muscatine presentations through July and August. So that will be exciting. Lots of great stuff for the summer. Hopefully everybody can join us either online or in person. And with that, I will invite everybody to stand up for the four-way test. Thank you.
Well.